Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob here in Laguna, Phuket. Thank you so much. That was Sao on the Kim and Hua on the Ching. And our next guest, the Queen of Roth, who is not in Roth right now. She's lost here in Laguna, Phuket, but you've won this race twice. Belinda Granger is our guest. How you doing, Belinda?
Very well.
So nice to reconnect with you.
I love it. Love being here. Love doing Breakfast with Bob. Of course, very exciting. And never thought I'd see you here in Laguna, so it's very exciting.
I was actually here and did the TV commentary for the first ever 20 years ago.
Oh.
Murphy brought me over here
That's
to
impressive.
do the first ever. Yeah, it was very, very intriguing. So being here, you travel all over Asia. You do a lot of the challenge races, the 70.3 races. What do you like and love about racing in Asia?
You know, I started my career racing in Southeast Asia, and I think I liked it from the very first time I raced. I think my very first race was Laguna, Phuket.
Really?
Way back, I think 12 or 13 years ago,
Oh
I
my
did my
God.
first one.
Yeah.
And fell in love with the place immediately.
Yeah.
And then I've really centered my entire career around racing in Southeast Asia over all different distances. But there's no doubt about it, this race is by far my favourite destination race of the year. And perfect timing at the end of the year, end of a long season. And to just kick back after the race is over, you couldn't ask for anything better.
So you're one of those people, it seems like there's almost a dividing line now. You're an Ironman person, or you're a challenge person, or you're doing Rev 3. And, for someone who has to basically tiptoe, right? Because you want to be everybody's friend. You've been around the sport long enough to know that when you first came here, it was about growing triathlon in Asia, right? And growing triathlon in Germany, wherever it happened to be. How hard is that to deal with sort of the possessiveness that comes along with this nowadays?
Oh, look, it's incredibly difficult. And I think back when I first started, it was never an issue. People didn't really question whether I was doing challenge races or Ironman races. You just did the sport of triathlon, and you tried to make a healthy living by doing all the races that were available to do. And no one really questioned my loyalty because I raced a lot. So I'm lucky that I'm one of these athletes that is able to race a lot, and I supported everyone. I supported the sport of triathlon.
Right.
And to me, by doing all of these different races all around the world, it was only doing the sport good, because it was all about lifting the profile of triathlon around the world. It's only been the last couple of years that it's become an issue, and it kills me because, like you said, I have one of those personalities where I do like to be loved by everyone.
Who doesn't?
Just my husband and I are always talking about it, and I truly love the sport of triathlon. I've been in it for over 22 years now, and there are so many great races around the world, and I don't pick and choose races by what organisation runs them. I pick and choose races off the actual race itself, exactly, the team behind it, where the race is held. For me now at the latter end of my career, it's all about destination, and you'll see that I continue to support the same races year after year because I have such a great time. That's why I've been here this is my 11th time here. I've been to Challenge Roth 10 times because they are truly fantastic races, and I have a really strong rapport with the race directors and the actual community where that race is held. So I'm not going to change that.
Sure.
So I'm going to continue supporting the races that have supported me all my career, and that's how it should be.
So 49 iron distance races. When is number 50? That's a lot.
49, and I still distinctly remember the day back in 1996 when I went and watched Justin, who was not my husband at the time. We were going out, and he did his very first Ironman Hawaii in 96, and I had the best time and was all over the course, and someone said to me after the race was over, "Oh, I bet you're addicted now. I bet you want to do one." I'm like, not in a million years.
Really?
Nope. It took me all the way till 1999 before I decided to start and do my first Ironman, and of course, since then, 49 races later.
Oh my God.
It's crazy. But number 50, I'm very excited because obviously Challenge Taiwan, it was the inaugural year this year, and we've just worked it out. I've just signed on with Michael Duss, the race director, that I will be returning next year.
As defending champion. Yeah.
And that will be number 50.
I love that. Now, do we have special anniversary, special birthday, something coming up for you?
We just had... I don't do birthdays so much anymore.
Okay.
I just
once you pass 29, 30,
so
I
did
understand
all.
it. Yeah.
No, Justin and I just had our 14th wedding anniversary, which happens to also fall on my 40th birthday.
I knew there was something like that coming up. That's cool. So this year was a good year. You won Challenge Taiwan, and you won Ironman 70.3 Hawaii.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is another favourite race of mine.
Yeah.
Love. And Diana does such an amazing job in that race, and that's why I've done that 3 times now.
Yeah.
Lucky to have pulled off the win 3 times. So, and that's another favourite destination for me. I love going to Kona, and obviously Hawaii Ironman World Championships is a little beyond me now. I've done that 10 times, so I thought, well, what can I still want to get there. I still love the place, and the 70.3 there's fantastic.
Half the distance, twice the fun.
Yes, exactly. No, it's good. It's good.
Now, growing up, were you a swimmer? What was your...
I was a gymnast.
You were a gymnast. Oh, you do have that gymnast body.
Yeah, I was a gymnast. So
what was it? All around?
Yes, all around. Mainly at the end, it was mainly tumbling.
Okay.
So I was competitive gymnast till I was about 16.
Yeah.
And then for the last couple of years, I just did a lot of tumbling and performances that were just involved with the floor.
Yeah.
But I've swum since I was little. Obviously,
Yeah.
coming from Australia, most
Everybody
Australians
swims.
swim.
Sure, yeah.
Cycling was actually the thing I took up later in life.
Right.
So I don't think I think I was 21 by the time I actually got on my first bike.
Yeah.
Proper bike, road bike. And it's obviously been my strength. So it's quite funny. And of course, the thing that I've been doing the longest, which is running, is my weakness. So go figure. But anyway.
That is funny.
But I think with me, and someone wrote an article once, and I thought no one's ever explained it better, is I don't possess a lot of natural talent in anything, swim, bike, run. Maybe a little bit on the bike, but my swimming and my running, I've got no natural talent. But what this particular article said was that I where I show my talent is in my durability.
Right. Oh, no question.
Yeah, so durability and just being strong in the head. So that's the reason I think I've had such success in this sport of ours, is because I'm hardy. And
you recover quickly.
Exactly.
So was that something that Brett Sutton helped you figure out?
Look, obviously the great thing about Brett is he looks at you straight away, and Brett's not always about coaching athletes with a lot of natural talent. In fact, he prefers to take the athletes that don't have so much natural talent, physical talent, but he likes to look for their other strengths. And, obviously with me, he knew what my strength was, and it was that I was a workhorse.
Your strength is your strength.
Exactly. And that's how he coached me. And he does that with a lot of people. He did it with Hilary Biscay. If you had have asked people, 10 years ago, would Hilary Biscay ever win an Ironman, they would have said not a chance. But Brett knew that he could do it, and he was able to do it for her. And Hilary's a very successful athlete in her own right now. So I think that's Brett's secret, is that he's able to just look at an athlete, discover what their strengths are, and then coach that person on their strengths.
What's special about this race? Now, obviously, this year it's a challenge race, or challenge, and it's been a 70.3. It's been a lot of different things, but just the race itself, because you start salt water and then regular water, then lake water, and then the bike ride is all over the place. Yeah, it's a tough course, right?
Look, there's so many factors that make this the complete package, is like how I like to put
Yeah.
it. For me, this is, as I said, it's a 100% destination race. The place itself is amazing. Fantastic place to bring the family, because, I'm going to be here. By the time I go home, I'll have been here for just over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Love it. But the course itself, it is absolutely one of the toughest half-distance courses you'll ever do.
Yeah.
Ever do. The bike course is extremely tough, and not just tough because it's hilly, but technical. Like, you need really good skill level. For example, last weekend, Melissa Hauschild, even though she won the race, fell off twice.
She fell off her bike twice.
She fell off her bike twice because she just took the corners too quickly, took the downhills too quickly, and paid the price.
Yeah.
So that's what this course is. It's very unforgiving. And of course, the conditions, the heat and humidity. It's a sweatbox out there, but that's why I
you're
love
here.
it.
Yeah,
it's
that's why you're
old
here.
school triathlon. They're not trying to make it easy. They're trying to make it tough, and it's a race that you don't forget in a hurry.
So when you've seen so many great athletes, and when you were with TBB, and all of a sudden this, not even that young, but this gal comes in, this raw gal named Chrissy Wellington, and you see her for the first time. How long was it before you realized, oh my God, this girl's at a level I've never seen before?
Oh, obviously, when Chrissy first came in, she came in, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. We were all exhausted, so of course we were like, who is this girl with all this energy and these bright eyes? And we're all got our eyes hanging down here. We've been in camp for over a month. And so, we were tough on her when she first joined, because we didn't like that energy, because we wanted it.
Yeah, you're like,
But, after a while, we got to know her, and it was obviously within probably two or 3 weeks of training with her, we knew that she was something special. Physically, you could see that she was something special. And just the thing with Chrissy is not just is she physically so superior, but she's got the mental aptitude that's just beyond anyone I've ever seen. If anything, it could be of detriment because she's so tough on herself, you know, and that's why obviously
that's why she retired.
And that's why her longevity in the sport wasn't like most pro athletes, because
Yeah.
I don't think people realise just what a perfectionist she is, and that it's not good enough to just win a race.
She has to dominate.
She has to dominate
in all
every
three
leg.
phases. Yes.
Has to beat her time from wherever the last time was.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about going to Hawaii and winning. She's done that. She's proved she can do that every time she steps on the race field. But
Yeah.
she wanted to do better each time, and that's exhausting. You know?
I remember, I think it was 07, her first win, and you were on the bike, and you were with the other gals, right? I think it's Samantha McGlone, the rest of them.
Yep.
And Chrissy
Kate
goes
Major.
by like you were all standing still, and you said something like, "Girls, there goes the race."
Yep. And it's funny because Chrissy obviously wasn't swimming very well back then. She got out of the water quite a ways behind
Yeah.
the girls. And that was one of those races where all of the main players, all of the girls were all together on the bike.
Yeah.
Everyone was there. So it was quite interesting because one wasn't used to doing Hawaii like that. Normally Hawaii, the women are all
Spread apart, yeah.
all the way up and down the highway. So I was actually wondering when Chrissy would get us, and she didn't get us till fairly late, but she'd actually been sitting off the back of the bunch and not knowing what to do and thinking, well, what do I do from here? Do I sit here or do I go to the front? And so she actually rode up beside me, and, you know, typical Chrissy, I feel pretty good. What do I do? I said, well, don't hang around here. Get going.
Get out of here.
And I remember her still saying, oh, will you come with me?
I wish I could.
I can't. I said, I'm at my limit. So I
wow.
said, but you go and don't look back. And she did. And she didn't do anything crazy. She didn't ride away at, 100k an hour. She just steadily and surely just up the road she went. And you saw people looking around. I saw Sam looking at Kate Major and Kate shrugging, and the other girls going, well, I don't know, who is she?
Yeah.
And, of course, we all knew. And so I looked back and said, I can't believe no one went or tried to go with her, because
That's a
this
race.
is not her strength. And it wasn't. Cycling was not her strength at that stage.
She's a better
She
runner.
was a better runner. I was still dropping her on some sessions on the bike, so
Yeah.
I knew that her running was where her strength was.
Oh, my
and
God.
so I just said,
That's hilarious.
guys, you've missed the boat.
So Melissa Hulsholt will be racing. Well, if she feels better.
Yeah. Oh,
She won the last weekend. She'll be racing.
She's doing this on. It's good. I said it's good that you got sick, Melissa,
Recovery.
because it's not going to make us look so stupid. So instead of her beating us by 30 minutes, it might only be back to like 10, 15.
What do you think in terms of her Kona? Obviously she's won 70.3 Worlds. You see her as somebody who can, because right now you've got someone like Miranda Carfrae, who's just broke the course record in Kona.
Amazing.
Chrissy's record. I thought if Chrissy was ever going to come back, that was going to be the motivator.
Yes,
but
yeah.
she did. I emailed her, and she didn't seem like she was
Was that
biting.
keen?
She wasn't biting on
She's
that.
discovered life.
She found that you know what?
She's having
There's
the best
something
life.
behind swimming, biking, and running that getting up early and
Exactly.
having those nerves and everything. But Miranda obviously is getting better on the bike, coming off 7-8 minutes back, and she's looking like she's running 250, which is unbelievable.
Amazing.
Is Melissa someone who can potentially run with her in Kona?
I think so. Now, I wouldn't have said that a year or two ago because I thought Melissa was quite breakable.
Yeah.
Coming from a runner's background, still had a runner's body.
Yes.
She was breakable and she was very prone to injury.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
But another year in the sport, so I think she's been doing triathlon now for a solid 3 years, which
Yeah.
is still not a lot in the genre.
It's not like the Belinda-esque.
22
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
But I've even noticed a change in her physique in that she looks a lot stronger. She doesn't have that long distance runner's body anymore. And she's doing a lot of work on the bike, which I think is really helping with her strength. She's managed to get through this entire year without injury. And that's a big plus.
That's huge for her.
So I would love to see her take on Ironman distance next year. I did talk to her about it, and the problem she's having is that she's loving the 70.3 and half Ironman distance.
And you know what? It's actually a good era to be a pro because you
absolutely.
can make some good money doing
and that's what she
those,
said.
right?
She said, I can actually make a really good living doing halves. She loves to race.
Yes.
So she's one of these girls that has no problem racing weekend in and out. So she knows if she decides to go to the longer distance that she's going to have to stop that, and I don't think she's quite ready to do that yet.
Well, and you know what? I think it's a good sign for the sport.
Yes,
when
yes.
someone can make a living,
absolutely.
because then she can do Olympic and sprint for the speed, and then make her
and
bread
she's
and
still
butter
got some
at 70
speed.
points. Yeah,
I mean, she proved that in High V this year, racing
Right.
some of the gun shorter course girls. You know,
exactly.
She's a phenomenal athlete. But in saying that, I mean, I would love to see her take on Ironman distance in the next couple of years, because I truly think that once she decides to commit to that distance and she trains correctly for it, then she will be able to run with Miranda. She's the only one I can see on the horizon that is capable of doing
Yeah.
those sort of run times.
So for you, like you said, this has been your career. You still love it?
I love it to death. There is nothing about it that I don't like. You know, the only thing I started to get this year is that I must admit the longer distance.
Yeah.
Is
Started losing patience?
starting to lose patience and just starting to take a lot longer to recover. So
Yeah.
back in the day when I would do an Ironman distance race, a couple of days after the race I'd be right as rain again. Now it's a couple of weeks. So
Most people, it's a couple months,
Yeah.
okay? So
I must admit I think I'm going to be, I don't think I'll be doing too many more of that distance.
Right.
But
But the half distance, you can go
half
forever.
distance, absolutely. Yeah, I love the half. I absolutely adore the half distance. And what I would actually like to see is the distance we did last weekend. We call it the destination distance.
Oh.
And, you know, it's that little bit longer than Olympic distance.
Right.
And I love that distance. So it's around the 3-hour mark.
Yeah, 3 hours. You know
Yeah,
what?
Beautiful distance.
People will travel for a 3-hour race.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
it's
they will.
still worth their while. Make sure you do it in some really cool locations that people will want to stay, a few days
Yeah.
after and relax. And honestly, that's what I think this distance is amazing. And of course, this race has a sister race in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Same distance. I think they also just put one on over in the Bahamas. Not the same organisers,
Yeah,
but the
right,
same sort of distance.
right.
It's just such a great idea. I love this distance.
A lot of racing going on.
Yes.
I mean, that's the positive of
It is.
having different brands all going after the same
good thing.
same market, because the races are filling up.
Yep.
And we're getting new people into the sport.
Yep.
And there's more money for the pros.
And that's why I don't understand this
The battle,
bashing of
yeah.
heads, because at the end of the day, it's all about the growth of this sport.
And changing lives. Getting people off the
Exactly,
couch.
and
getting
into
them-
fitness. And I love that. And by having all these different distances allows athletes to
Absolutely.
do that. It gives them the opportunity, to start in sprint distance. Although I must admit, I was at Taiwan 70.3 the other month, and 6 lovely young boys from India, never done a triathlon before, but caught the bug just
Yeah.
by watching videos, trained for it. Some of them were training at midnight because that's the only time they could. They live in Mumbai. That's the
Yeah.
only time they could go out on the bike. And Taiwan 70.3 was their very first triathlon, and they absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So I love hearing stories like that. For me, that is the reason I'm still in the sport.
Well, and to be honest, your personality and the fact that you do love the sport,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you've
truly.
become this traveling ambassador for
Yeah.
the sport, and you're driving new people in it,
Yeah,
which is
I love
what
it.
it's all
And-
about.
Yeah, and I mean, Justin always says he reckons I've always played mother hen, and maybe that's, like you said, it's my personality. But for me to see where I started in the sport back in early '90s to where it is now,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's incredible, the growth of the sport, and not just with the professionals, but with the age groupers, with the amount of racing that's going on all around the world.
Yep.
It's not just in Australia, America. It's everywhere. So I love it. I think it's fantastic. And it's a great way to live your life.
Love it. Well, you're the best.
Thank you.
Belinda Granger has been our guest. We're on triathlete.com. This is Breakfast with Bob. Hold on, everyone. We'll be right back.